My name is Dave Tuttle, and I am the founder and former executive director of Presbyterian Social Ministries. I was worshiping at the First Presbyterian Church downtown and was looking for employment. And the pastor there, Robert Morris, said, "Dave, I'd like to put you on staff, and you can build mission. You can do anything you want." That's kind of like my dream job here. And so they put me on salary, and the first thing I did was create the urban mission experience here. We built a dorm downstairs in that church, had bunk beds and showers, and that was the beginning of groups coming here for PSM. The number of countries that we have served here is hard to measure. That's because, in part, the clothes that we send across the country or out of the country are just as important as people who come from out of the country and serve here. But I'm going to say that there's 6 or 8 countries at least. A unique thing about Presbyterian Social Ministries is that it does exactly what needs to be done. The way in which we grew here was in response to need. If there was a need, we tried to fill it here. If there was a way to fund it, that made it even easier. What's hard is if you have something you want to do and there's no way to fund it here, and it makes it nearly impossible to do. One example here is we were looking at unwed mothers, to start a program for them, and there was just no money available to do it. It's not that it didn't need to be done, but we couldn't find the money to do it. My motivation for building Presbyterian Social Ministries was a need I have that probably goes back to my youth here, where I love to build things here. In a management style description here, using the agrarian vocabulary here, you have 3 kinds of managers. You have planters, you have caretakers, and you have harvesters. And a planter is one that starts things here, and a caretaker is one that manages it after it continues to grow and to make sure that things flourish. And a harvester is one that closes it down and takes what's left, and shares it out. I'm a planter by that method here, and I like to start things here, and that seems to be pretty consistent throughout my life. I've always wondered about what I'm supposed to do and why I'm supposed to do it here, and one of the ways that my faith takes me here is that if it works, I was supposed to do it. If it doesn't work, I wasn't supposed to. There's been a number of things that I tried that didn't work, and I stopped doing those. But I thought I was supposed to be here, and I thought I was supposed to do these things here. When we moved to the Murray Hill Church complex here, I thought things were pretty good here. This is what we were supposed to do here. There's been some challenges being here, and one of the nice features of this, though, is that we have space that's ours and that we can do what we want with it. And we have, and right now, because of the pandemic, we're modifying things so that we can still make it work. And that's always been a challenge. When I started working for nonprofit groups here, I joined a civic group here. It was called the JCs. And one of their lines in their mission statement was, service to humanity is the best work of life. So what you're saying here is that the service to others is the best work of life. It's kind of a variation of that. I think helping others is what it's all about here. It's not just about us. It's not about what we do. It's about who we help. And over the years, I think we've helped hundreds of people. And it's interesting how that thread kind of weaves its way through to finding new kinds of work to do and new opportunities for us to do it. If I had to answer the question what I would do differently if I was to do everything again here, my answer would be that I wouldn't do anything differently. I find that the mistakes that I make are what help shape and determine what I do. I have no regrets. I think the factors that force us one way or another or help us choose the path that we're going to take, or the highway that we're going to go down. here is not necessarily determined by me. It's the circumstances, it's the environment here, it's the global need here that we have here, or community need. We I really would like to say that I don't know that I should get credit for anything that we've actually started here, because they weren't necessarily my ideas. Remember, the reason we started the Urban Mission Experience was that I met a woman named Dorothy Dornblaser at that church who said, "Dave, you ought to start an Urban Mission Experience." And I said, "I can do that." And so I did what she told me to do, or she suggested we do. But she didn't have the skills to do it nor the time. And because I had the time and the skills, that's what I did. When we had a meeting with Changing Homelessness here, they came to us and said, "We would like you to start apartment living for chronically homeless, chronic alcoholics." And they aren't a pretty picture. And that's what sold us. The board said, "No one else wants them, we'll take them." And that has turned out to be a critical new program that started, that's carried the agency for many years now. We support those that need the help here. For example, when we had groups coming here to volunteer in the community here, we sent a lot of groups to Habitat for Humanity, which is a group that builds houses and restores them now in Jacksonville. And we had the groups to do this here. And it would have made sense. Well, why don't we just go out and build our own houses, and we can do it all and get all the credit here? But they were doing a good job. Made it more sense to work with them to get that job done here. So if someone else is doing it, we'll support them in doing it here. If someone else is giving away clothes, we'll support them in doing it here. But when we had the opportunity to get clothes and to start sharing those out here, we found new ways to do it, and it created a whole new venue for our agency. If I had an opportunity to talk with someone that was looking for a way to serve others and to help others and support them financially here, I would say get to know Presbyterian Social Ministries. The work that we do is individual. We serve a great number of people, and the impact goes way beyond anything that we can measure. One of the reasons I didn't like working in nonprofit organizations is it's always been difficult to measure what we do. If someone's feeling better here, how do you measure that here? But if you're giving away clothes, you can say, well, I gave away 100 pairs of blue jeans, I gave away 600 t-shirts, I gave away 12 pairs of shoes or boots or whatever. And you can measure that here. But what impact that has on the life of the family, you just don't know. And I've kind of decided that because it's so hard to figure out, I'll let God do that. I don't have to do it. I'll let Him figure it out, and He can work with it here. And if someone steals from us or abuses us or sells the clothes here, that's on them. But I can't stop giving out just because a few people are going to take advantage of that. If I was to tell a story about what I learned from PSM here, is that I go back to the days, the mornings, the late evenings when I was working over in the clothing center, sorting clothes. And someone would stop in, and they would help. And they would catch the bug, and they would continue to come here. Some of my best associations that I ever formed were through the clothing program. And it's like doing laundry at home. You're folding the stuff, putting it in piles and separating it here, and the girls get this stuff and the boys get this stuff here, and you put it in boxes by size and seasonal condition. So it's very easy to do here. And then you can listen to music. I love listening to music here, all kinds. And it gave me an opportunity just to kind of like help somebody and have fun at the same time. I think one of the things that I've always enjoyed about PSM here is that I love doing the work. I loved it. I didn't work. It was fun. Every day coming in was exciting. And when Sanmar or one of the other manufacturers here in town called us and said they have They have clothes to pick up here. Can we come and get them? That was like, it's like Christmas. Every box was Christmas. You open it up here. Oh, you got wet T-shirts, you know. So we have to figure out what to do with it here. I think besides the friendships that I learned and I gained here at PSM here, I think some of the exciting times were when we had the biggest problems. We had the flood downstairs here. I don't know that anybody's going to want to remember that. But we had a hurricane came through here, the power went off, the sump pump didn't work, and we had about 4 or 5 inches of water in the clothing warehouse. It was a mess. Boxes got wet, they fell over, more clothes got wet here. And we worked for 3 or 4 weeks trying to get that bailed out here. The result of that, though, was that we made a lot of new friends. People who didn't lose power came over and picked up bags of wet clothes, took them home, washed them, dried them, and brought them back. It was great. And that's what it's about, helping people and people helping us.